Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. For this video, we are going to dive into Dragonbane's solo rules, and more specifically, we're going to look at the fortune chart. This is a kind of oracle that you can use to drive your solo role-playing, and I found this to be a really fantastic system. Now, if you look on the chart here, what you will see is there are different options, different answers for questions that you can ask. The first one deals with yes-no questions. The second one deals with questions about number. The third one deals with scale. The fourth one deals with power. The fifth one deals with quality. And the last one deals with reaction. Now, they've given us several examples here, but I want to actually give you some of my own examples that I might encounter in my own solo role-playing to try and help maybe stimulate some creativity for you for how you can use this in your own solo role-playing. Now, this is really a simple system. Basically, it's a D6 system. All you need are 2 D6 dice, and I'll explain why you need 2 in just a second. But basically, you ask your question, and then you roll a D6 and consult the chart based on that answer. Now, there's also something called tilting the scales. Now, the default option for this is always to roll 1 die. But if you feel like the scales are tilted either to the positive or the negative, you can roll 2 dice. So, for example, if we take number, and I feel like it's very likely I'll get a yes answer, I will roll 2 dice and take the higher of the 2. If it is an unlikely result, I will roll 2 dice and take the lower of the 2. So it's kind of like advantage, disadvantage, except you were just rolling with D6s. So it's a really simple system. All you need is 2 D6 dice to keep it going. A really important rule that they have here is to just keep things simple and keep things moving along. Allow these questions to help you push your narrative forward. Don't get hung up on the details, but just try to have fun with it. So what I'd like to do now is to actually walk you through a few of my own questions that I've come up with for these different aspects of the fortune chart, and we can see how this works. So let's go ahead now and begin with the yes-no question. Let's say that your character is walking along, and he comes to a large crevasse, and there is a rickety rope bridge. Now, the question that I want to ask is, as I'm trying to charge across this bridge, let's say I have goblins chasing me down from behind. The question is, will the rickety rope bridge hold as I cross it? So let's go ahead and just roll a single die, because maybe we don't really know if it's more likely or less likely. So let's roll a single die here, and there is a 5 yes, and it is a yes answer, more towards the extreme. So the rope holds no problem, which means that it will probably hold as well for any enemies that are following me behind. Now let's go ahead and throw some disadvantage on this. Let's tilt the scale to the negative. Let's say that as I'm running towards this bridge, one of the goblins following me shoots at a burning arrow. And the arrow hits the rope and begins now to fray some of the ropes that are holding the bridge up. So now we would say it is less likely if I charge across this bridge. So let's see. Let's roll 2 dice and take the lower. So no, here we go. The lowest one is a 1, which is an extreme no. So we will say this. Not only does the bridge collapse, but as it does it bursts into pieces. There's nothing that I can grab onto, which means that as I'm crossing the bridge, I fall down into this crevasse heading down to the waters below. Really cool. Super easy. Let's jump over to number. So let's ask the question here. Let's say my character is coming into a secret hidden wharf around a cliff face where I suspect that there might be some ships hiding there. And yes, indeed, there are ships hiding there. And one of the ships that I'm maybe looking to sneak onto maybe has dock workers there. So let's ask a question now. How many dock workers are loading the ship that is docked at the hidden wharf? So let's go look to our number chart here. If we roll 1d6, there is 1 there. So the answer there is none or 1. So maybe the ship is completely empty, or maybe there is a lowly dock worker who is loading supplies on. Now, let's say I come late at night. I got a pretty negative answer here, obviously, with a 1. But let's say I come late at night. Late at night, where I would say it's less likely there will be a lot of dock workers there. So let's say that this was our first roll. Let's roll 2 d6s. And all right, I got a 3. So that would be no. Few. There would be very few dock workers. So maybe 2 to 3 dock workers are there late at night. So the question then for me as a solo player is, what do I do then? How do I get onto this dock? How do I try to sneak on? Do I confront the dock workers, or do I try to sneak onto the ship, or do I wait until they leave? So the questions are completely open. Let's run over to the next aspect here on the fortune chart, which is scale. So this is a fun one if you want to get just a general size or scale of something that you're looking at or that you are pursuing. So here is the question that I have written for this. Let's say that my character is coming to a castle where there's a treasure that is hidden there. And the local legend is that there's a dragon that is guarding the treasure. So as I come into the castle and I peek around the corner, I indeed see a dragon there. So the question is, what size is the dragon that is protecting the treasure? So here is the scale. Let's go ahead and roll 1d6 to start off. 5. Okay, so that is large. It is a large and formidable dragon, so I have to be incredibly careful here as I approach. Maybe I come back. Maybe I need to try something else. I obviously don't want to try to fight this, probably because it probably won't go very well for me. But let's go ahead now and roll 2 dice, and let's go ahead and tilt the scales in the larger direction, because we'll say this, that the treasure there is huge. It is a massive treasure hoard, which would mean that it would require a massive dragon to protect the treasure hoard. So let's roll 2 dice here and take the higher 3. So it would be a moderate-sized dragon. So it's a decent size, but it's not too overwhelming. So that would obviously change the way in which my character would approach the dragon. Let's move on to power. This is a fun one if you want to figure out the strength of an individual or maybe a machine or a spell. I mean, you can have tons of different things that require you to roll on the power scale. The question that I'm going to have now deals with the strength of a guy. Let's say that my character is sitting inside of a tavern having a drink, and there is somebody who comes behind me and who doesn't like my character and wants to pick a fight. So here's the question that I have. How strong is the guy that I'm going to potentially start a brawl with in the tavern? Let's go ahead and roll our 1d6. How strong is this guy? 6. Incredible strength. So this guy is something like a massive bodybuilder. He comes and hits me on the back and says, "Hey, I don't like you being here." I turn around and see this massive guy, incredibly powerful. What am I going to do now when this guy is trying to start a brawl with me? Let's go ahead now and roll 2 dice this time, and let's tilt the scales in favor of weakness. So in other words, let's roll 2 dice and take the weaker of the 2. And why should we do this? Well, let's say that we enter a tavern, and this is a tavern that is it's known for its gathering of the Society of Cartographers. So this is a group of guys who get together and girls who get together and discuss maps. They love maps, everything about maps, and they love drawing maps and talking about maps and debating the details of maps. So it's a group of cartographers meeting in this tavern. So we're gonna shift the scale towards weakness here because of all the cartographers. So let's go ahead and roll 2 dice to see how strong the person is, the power level of the person who comes and taps me on the shoulder, who doesn't seem to like me being there. 2 dice, both of them are 2, so we will take a 2 is the lower of them, and it's a pretty minor strength, so not a very strong person at all. I think I could probably take them with my character. The next one is quality. Let's jump over to that. Quality can deal lots of different things. It can deal with value. It can deal with the quality of things. Let's say here that we want to check the quality of a map that I have stolen. We're in the theme of cartography here. Let's say that I come into a city and there is a guard who is standing watch by the gate. And I notice that the guard has a map on his hip. And this map is potentially a map of the city that I might need in order to make my way around the city. So let's say that I successfully steal the map and now I'm looking at it. The question is, how good and accurate is the map of the city that I have stolen from this guard? Well, let's go ahead and roll 1d6 to start us off. And it is a 2. The quality is mundane. So it is a very poorly made map. The details are not very good. It gives you very few helpful insights about the city. It's very mundanely drawn. It still gives you some information. It's not completely flawed, like the information is not wrong, but it's still mundane. Let's go ahead now and roll with advantage. And we will say at this time that apparently the soldier bought this map from the city's best cartographer, maybe one of these people that was gathered at the tavern that I was at. And so we know that this is going to be very likely a high quality map if he bought it from one of the city's best cartographers. That doesn't mean necessarily that it is high quality. The cartographer maybe could have made a bad map for the soldier, but we'll assume that he paid quite a bit for it. Let's roll 2 dice and take the higher of the two. So, wow, 2 sixes. So we will take, obviously, a 6 in this case, and the quality of the map is precious. This thing is extremely detailed. It has all of the accurate information that I will need. It gives even special insights into secret passageways. Maybe it gives me tips and hints into how to make my way through the city undetected. I mean, it is a map that is made for the soldier. So maybe it'll give me some insight, good information for how to make my way through the city without being seen. And finally, let's go to the last one, and this is reaction. Now, reaction, this could be sort of the demeanor of an NPC that my character would meet. It could be a boss's demeanor. It could be a crowd's demeanor. And I'm actually going to go with that idea, the crowd. And here's the question that I have. Let's say that my character, he's something of a talented bard, let's say. And he is up in front of a crowd and trying to perform a musical number to sway the crowd in order for the crowd to help my character or to accomplish some task. So I go in front of this crowd and I'm going to sing a musical number. The question now is, what is the reaction of the crowd to my singing? So let's go ahead and roll 1d6 and check this out. Ooh, it's a 1. So their reaction is hostile. They hate the song. They do not love musical numbers. They are completely angered by this. And immediately the crowd turns on me as I begin to sing this song. And they begin to charge the stage. And now I have to role play this to figure out what happens. Let's say... Let's go back and roll this again. But let's say this time that I am not only a bard, but I have been trained at one of the most prestigious schools in the land. And so I am an extremely talented singer. And so I'm going to roll 2 dice now and take the highest of the 2. So I have tilting the scales in favor of positive answers here. What is going to be the reaction of the crowd when I go up and sing? Let's roll our 2 dice and take the highest. Okay, there's a 4. A 4 would be open. So the crowd is indeed open to my singing. They sit back, they listen, and now they are potentially primed to help me out or to give me the guidance or the advice or the direction that I need to accomplish my task. So we will say that my song has been very successful. Well, there you have it, folks. A simple run-through of this fortune chart from Dragonbane. Like I said, I love this because all you need are 2d6s. You got this simple chart. It's a great way to ask 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds of questions that deal with everything from yes, no, number, scale, power, quality, reaction that really can cover all situations in your solo role-playing. So really a fantastic way to help you move through your role-playing if you ever get stuck or you need help, or if you just want to try out something and see what interesting results it leads to. Really simple, really easy. I can highly recommend this for your role playing. Well, thank you for joining us here today at Gray Army Gaming. If you appreciate these kind of videos that deal with solo role-playing and you'd like to see more of them, please do leave me a thumbs up, comment below, and also subscribe to the channel, and I will continue to make more solo role-playing videos for you in the future. And most importantly, thank you for joining us here today at Gray Army Gaming for the future of solo gaming.